Yo, what's up? This is Interview. We're back in the game and back in the process of creating this character. So the last video I showed you the poly modeling of the character. Now I'm going to show you the extra processes and the extra finesse of the UV seams, UV mappings. Let's see, texturing and rigging as well. So let's try and make this happen. Alright, so let's check my screen up and we're going to look at this right now. So we have the character here in that sense. So now we're going to essentially continue doing this. Alright. So the first step into doing this is to separate the parts now. It's also good to make backups as well, so you don't end up actually losing your content. So there we go. Here we go, you see this. So now I'm going to essentially go here and generate. I'm going to do multi-resolution, or actually that's the wrong one. I'm going to do decimate and then unsubdivide. You see how it does that up subdivision like that? We're going to test this out to see how much we can actually do. So, alright, so for this case it does more or less that, so we can put this as this for now. The reason why we're doing this is that just in case anything happens, we can use other versions of the model and actually do more work with that as well. Because this is technically a high poly version of the model itself. So I'm going to do this over here. And then I'm going to start, I'm guessing it right, we're going to start putting all the parts together. But first we have to essentially combine these parts together as well. By combining the parts, we can essentially do some work with this in the end too. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to take that off. Just connect the parts that are most similar in that sense. And I'll do this here as well. I'm going to join. Now I'm going to see the parts, see if there's anything left that we didn't actually fix. So I'm going to delete this because we don't need that. So we need to add all these parts as well. Let's see. There's one part we didn't add in. Join this, and then it does that. So, all right. So we have this now done. So we can just do this. And then click on this. Alright, so for this, we gotta put these all on the same marks as well. So what I'm gonna do now is see what I can actually add back. Turn this off. I want to join. Okay, so this is just like that. Okay. So now I'm going to, yeah, that's probably it. And make a separate piece as well. Let's see, what am I missing? Okay, that's probably it. So we put these things into separate pieces so we can actually model this a little bit easier in that sense. This is supposed to be a proof that I can do this in a live stream in that sense. So, yeah. This is all handcrafted because you're seeing everything that I'm using in that sense from the keyboard and mouse. I gotta repeat that because some people are just not understanding what they talk about or what they're already trying to prove. So just giving this beforehand a disclaimer before people actually know what's going on. So okay. So we got our mask here as well. So let's see. Okay, we did this, and now okay, every part's been done. So we're gonna look at our mesh. So for this case, we could actually just like use the low poly one for now to make it a little more tangible to use. But if we were to use this in the end, you see how everything's like topologized pretty well, and there's actually a lot of distinctions too. That's what you can technically do if you understand to use your base mesh right and you create the base mesh like this, and actually create your ideas from that as well. So, yeah. Before we do anything here, we're gonna fix this. So, just X, and we're just gonna let's do that. Let's do that. There we go. And just edit. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to essentially separate more or less. I'm going to separate this part, maybe this part here as well, here as well, here as well too, here as well. Actually no, Bruce want to do this, so we're going to click on this.
Làm sao mà không đánh giá được anh? Nói chung là
There
tụi
we
con thì con mà.
go. Do this here.
Nếu mà bà tính mất tiền sau này trước tiên bà đợi có giá trước.
Có nói rồi. Nói rồi tôi làm chứ không phải lo gì chưa làm mà nói anh không làm á thì làm không làm thôi thôi.
Ờ, thì cứ cho ba không làm được chứ giờ đem sấy rồi đem bỏ lại. Vậy thôi.
No, anh làm cho anh làm luôn 20 cái luôn rồi để mà anh sáng ra anh gửi cho anh 10 cái rồi cái 10 cái để mà sách order đưa anh sáng thôi, không phải tôi làm cho anh. Anh hiểu không? Chứ làm luôn thế chứ để làm chi? Cứ để làm cho một cái, hai cái cho anh, một cái cho Vi nữa mà.
Gửi tặng chung cái anh chưa
Không
muốn.
có chung gì hết á. Chung thiếu gì tiền, không nổi nó hả? Tiền đầy à. Mình nghèo gần chết mà không có cho nó. Đâu, anh đâu có cho mình cái gì đâu sẵn.
There we
Thiếu
go
thiếu rảnh cái
here.
gì đâu.
Alright, we're going to test this out.
Em
I'm
mới
going to
làm
UV
chứ đâu có
edit.
rảnh là khó Vi rảnh lên mua máy vậy mà nói.
Tính ra phải sửa ra nó responsibility nhưng mà đúng là
UV
xe với
unwrap
xe không
angle
không không không
base.
nhắc. Là nếu mà không bỏ label ra phải bỏ gì để bỏ
Alright,
vào
so it separates
phải
it
phải
like this.
Rồi,
You see the face like that too.
thiếu rồi đó chứ.
Separates it,
Dạ.
even the hands as well.
À, với mốt là 90 view chứ.
So
Cái này 30 chứ. Em sorry chứ. Ok. Đây.
actually,
Lần nữa quá.
Rồi cái gì duy nhất là không có cãi lộn, chứ bình thường cái gì
gotta
ổng cũng vậy
clean
vậy
this
thôi.
up.
Đây mình
Some
không có
edge
cãi lộn,
seams
tại hai đứa
here.
nó làm trước cho mình chèn. That's it. Mua thì làm, không mua thì thôi.
Ủa
Bye.
ông nói ông cancel mà, giờ bà nói
Thì ông
cancel.
cancel đó mình không làm. Cái giọng điệu ông nói chuyện rất là lót cá thôi, anh hiểu không? Cái kiểu mà ép người ta làm nhanh rủ rưới, ra ép rủ rưới. Rồi bây giờ bỏ.
Như kiểu thường vậy đó, như từ từ mà tính mà làm sao
See
mà
how it takes time to actually UV seam something like this?
Ok anh đi á.
So
Bye.
I think I know what to do, so I'm just gonna just click on this, click on this as well, click on this as well. And then I'm gonna essentially just clean this up here, clean this up as well, 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 clean this up, clean this up too, here too, here too, here too, here too. Then just put this over here, and then this as well, this as well. There we go. Click on this. Click on this. Click on this. By doing so, you can actually head seam and actually do the work like that. So there we go. 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 Cool. Alright, now we separate everything else. So we're going to mark the seam. This time we're going to test it out again, see if it actually is connecting it right. So, okay, now you see the face itself is actually it's actually connected right now. So there might be a distinct spot to it. So let me see.
So which one is my computer? God, is this my computer right here, Ricky?
Huh?
This is my computer, right?
Yes. I'm trying to record right now.
Alright.
So okay. Let's see. Do this. And I'm looking at this. And then on the clear seam. There we go. So I'm gonna do this again. UV wrap on angle base. Now our face should look kind of different in that sense. So let's see. Alright, you See, there's some issues that are going on, so we're
Thank
gonna
you.
just
Yes.
clean everything up.
Yes, yes. Hi, how are you?
Clean seam.
So everything's in there,
And
and
clean
you just
seam
do
here as
exactly what I say. I
well.
think around 3 days
So we
you
got
will feel
distinct
better with
things
this
to
one.
clear this up in the end.
And I would like to
So
have your number so I can
in this
send you all
case, I'm just
the
gonna cut.
good food to eat for your stomach
I'm gonna
and
cut
your
this off
immune
because
system.
we just need to make it a little more clean.
And what's your number?
By doing so, you're able to see what's going on with the body itself.
963
And let's see.
96. Okay, I will text everything for you, okay? Thank you so much. Take good care.
I'm actually gonna
Oh, and the green tea too, okay?
go inside and click on this. Actually, let's try this right now. There we go. Our face is now actually evened out, so we can actually use this. You see? That's the part of the face that we were trying to UV, and it has all the parts there as well. I'm showing it like that, which is good. And it separates all the mesh parts just evenly in that sense. Actually, let's see what's going on here. Um, okay, I see now. So what we have to do now is, if I were to guess, I might have to do this here. Click on this. Okay, click on that. Click on this as well. Then we're gonna click on this too. Mark seam. Okay, that's odd. We're going to UV again. In this case, we're gonna separate the parts here and here, so now we can actually like make it distinct and not actually confuse it sometimes too. By doing this, we can actually can save ourselves more time and actually feels much more distinct in doing so. Okay, there's another one here as well. So there's a circle there, there's a round part there as well. Just gotta find it. Actually, it's the wrong one. There we go. Do this here like that. And this part seam. And then we just UV unwrap angle based. Now our hands are now separated. You see the thumbs are now actually separated, so now when we actually do paint this in the end, we can find where the parts are, we can paint it over and it's just make it work in that sense. This also applies to the feet as well, so we try and do this here. And we go here as well. So I'm going to do this right. Give me a second. see that? So we're gonna edit, and then we're gonna look at the feet. Okay, the feet doesn't look so clean, mainly because it's like high poly, but it's more or less quads, so we can just do this. So some quads here, quads here, quads here. Mark seam, and then we're just gonna just do that as well. All right, we did this, so now we're gonna start this again. You know, just separate our parts pretty well, and now it's more organized. You see? You see how it separates the parts there, and now all things are actually angled right in that sense. So that's like one way to do so. And check this out. You try and like smart project UV this in the end, it does this in the end. You see? But the problem is that the face isn't really UV right. You angle base things. What you have to do is that you have to like UV seam it all correctly in that sense. So now we can actually end up making the faces correctly in that sense and make them actually connect. So in that case, it's better to use angle-based UV mapping or UV unwrapping rather than just doing things like that in a sense. However, sometimes when you want to do things fast in that sense and your character is small and polygon well enough and low poly or mid poly, you could technically just do that instead, and then you can essentially just do that work in that sense and just yeah, you see. So all right, now we got our character technically UV'd. So yeah, give me a second. I gotta do something. So yeah. Okay, we're back. Did you guys miss me? Okay. Alright, so you see this, right? So now when you look at this, UVs are different. But what I'm trying to imply is that we're trying to focus on essentially making things simple, but not too simple. And now, since we cut the seam off like this, now our face is actually able to be textured right. Not to mention these parts here aren't actually taken out this time. You see that? So now we can actually paint over this and has more of the texture style. So let's try this actually. We're gonna go here and then we're gonna press edit, or we're gonna do decimate. By decimating, we're going to actually make this model actually more or less polygon based. Because right now, it has detail right now. Actually, it looks really good, but the problem is that we need to essentially decimate it to make it a little more easier to use. Because there's too many polygons, right? There, you see? Now it has around that many polygons. And there is some detail, but not a lot. That's actually the point of doing this, is to actually simplify it. You try to do this more than that, boom, you see? Now it's actually only that much. And you see, it's very, very low poly in that sense. Very low poly. Go back on number 2. There are some polygons here too. So if we were to use anything, we could use this instead. So here, let's try and apply this thing here as well. I'm gonna press edit, and now look what happens. You see, this is what we're not supposed to do because now it does all of this. The good news is that we can always prefix this, and now it changes into that. See? But then there's problems with that as well. So we're gonna edit, and then we're essentially going to essentially fix our UVs. So I think the reason why this is happening is because we actually divided it, so it changes the where all the stuff are popping up from as well. Which is pretty bad, but this is just a test to show you what you can actually do when it comes to doing these things in the end. We're going to essentially clean this up. I'm going to clean all of these up as well. Clean this up. But overall, I think you understand what I'm talking about. So this is like what you can do. So we're just going to clean the seams here, and we try this again. So we're going to do this, seam, and then we're going to essentially clear this off. We're going to clear this off here, and we're going to clean seam, mark this clean seam, and then we're going to clean this here, do this here, and then we're going to do this here as well. We're going to try and go here as well, go here as well. And you see what it does? Alright, now we're going to clean this, put it over here, put it over there, give it 2. So for this case, we're doing it for a lower poly model, so like that as well. And then we're going to essentially clean this off as well because we don't need this. We don't need this either. We're trying to make our UVs as simple as possible, so let's try and do this. And then we'll do this here as well. And let's see. Clean this, clean this. Actually, it's better to do it over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, here, here. And then we guys need to just fix this. Just do this here. And here too. Here as well. Here as well. Here as well. Here mark seam, and then we're just going to separate this, separate this. We also need to clean this up, and we'll mark seam here. We'll clean this up. We'll do this here as well. Mark seam. Alright, cool. Now we did this, right? So this is going to be a little bit different because now the polygons are going to be changing the UV map. So we'll be doing this. Cleaning that as well. Alright, cool, we can do that. Do that as well. Alright, cool. We click on this. Mark seam. Click on this. Alright, now it does that, which is perfect. And then we can just put the thing here as well. Mark seam. Okay, looks like we did it. So now we're going to test it, and then this should be more cleaned up in the end. You see? Boom! And our face is still there. See that? And everything is organized. To some extent, you might have to change it a little bit, depending on your model in that sense. But for this case, we did something pretty good. So you see the difference? This has more polygons. This is more sculpted, more polygons here. This one's here, it's like that too, but it's a little more tangible because it's not as dense as this model here. But the more dense your model becomes, or higher polygon counts, the more sculpted features you can add into it as well. All this is just poly modeling, so for those wondering in that sense. Alright, we're going to use this model to make it easier for us to use because I don't really want to use a high poly model. That's going to stress the thing out. So we're going to be using this model for now. Or we can essentially use this for now. We can use this model here that we created, and then we can use this and essentially just 3D model our character. And then we just put this in here, put this in there. Alright, now we have our plot, our concept we can use now. And everything's technically is organized, so now you see everything's organized in that sense. So everything being organized, you can essentially put it into separate pieces. So what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna try and like UV map all the other assets. The previous videos I've showed you do showcase what I'm talking about, so this should be like a revisit to what I'm doing as you guys are looking at this. Now I do this here, go here as well, go here as well. Okay, so we're gonna press edit. And then this is a little bit simple, but we're going to be using Smart UV Project, and then it does all of that. Okay, so now we're going to put this somewhere else. I'll put that there. That's the first one. The second one is this one here. We're going to Smart UV Project. Makes all those polygons. I'll put this over here as well to some extent. Now for this shirt we have, or this bodysuit. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is a little bit simple, but to make it short, we're going to make this one here actually, let's do this. We're going to essentially just organize almost all of this in the end, so that way we don't end up losing our time by doing this too. You see? we create this, we're going to essentially separate these things. UV seam. There we go. So we edit. Alright, so and then technically we can do it here as well. Click on that. Click on that. On the marks, actually we want to mark seam that, doesn't really matter. So over to UV and then angle based. Okay, that's what it looks like. We forgot one thing. I'm supposed to add this here. Let's add this here. Also here as well, separate most of this, or it doesn't end up looking too weird. So by doing that, just in case, we're going to do this here as well. Mark seam. Now UV, unwrap, angle base. There. Now our shirt's now changed differently, so now it's actually going to be easier for us to paint down here as well. You do these things right, you can actually like do a lot of things with a lot of simplicity. It will save you a lot more time when doing so in the end too. So we're on this object, we're going to push this, now just right back in. There we go. And now we're going to essentially, actually I think everything is UV'd. The only thing that's not UV'd is technically the armor here. We're not going to make it too complex, that's going to make it very annoying to look at. So we're going to look at all of this. This is very simple. We're going just to do this. So for this case, what we can do is that we can technically just do this. We just find the part of the face that we want to actually make it distinct for the UV maps. So we do this here, and then we click on this, click on this, click on this, click on this, and we mark seam here as well. Now afterwards, we're going to do the same thing here. But for this case, this is the only part I want to actually do right. But then it does that right. So now you have to like separate each part depending on what parts you really want. But to make it simple, it's not really a lot of stuff, so we can just do it like that. More importantly, we can just do this. So just do mark seam, we're going to object, we're going to edit, and we'll press Control A, mesh, separate by loose parts, and then we can just like do it like this. So edit. When you do this instead, check this out. It makes the part a lot easier to look at. You see, you have to like be an understanding of your concepts and your modular thinking when you actually create these things. So I'll just do it like this for now. It works well enough for what it's worth, so we can just use that. So, all right. So we fix this, this, and this. Now, next part will be this thing here to some extent. So here, or actually, is it already been done? Yeah, it's already been done. Cool. So we're going to click on this, 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 and click on this. Now we're going to edit. Boom. It has all our faces that we can use. So I think there's something missing. What am I missing? Let's see. Is there a duplicate? No, there's not a duplicate. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay, you see what's going on? I am missing one of the models here in the end. It's all been colored in that sense, but I don't know which one it is. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to look at each part, and then we're going to find out which part here is essentially not aligning to the model itself. In other words, we're trying to find what we missed and actually find out actually which one is actually doing this. So let's check this out. It would be this one, right? So yeah, see? Maybe that one. Try to do this one too. Definitely not this one too, so let's try this. You see? We forgot. It's this one. We forgot to unwrap that. See that? So you gotta check your work every single time. Check your work and don't take shortcuts. So edit and run UV unwrap and smart music project. And it creates all of that. So okay. We could technically simplify this in the end, we could, but if you do that in that way and actually just make one mesh here and or one mesh and UV map that, and you copy it like that sense, you can technically do that, but once you do that, it will only actually paint on like Substance or other texturing software. It's only on that one mesh UV layout, which copies it to the other meshes that are similar to this mesh as well. For those wondering about that, so what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna try and do this. Press Control R. Slowly do this. Now we're gonna just click on every single thing we have that we typically created. We're gonna look at this and this. Here, we're gonna press Edit, and now we have what we have. We have our pieces, so now we'll be able to essentially press R, and we're gonna be able to essentially do this, and just put our UVs the right way it's supposed to be in that sense. By doing this, we'll be able to do it like that. And then we're just going to slowly just put our pieces. Since there's not a lot of pieces for this, we can essentially do bigger spaces for this in this case. The other video that I've created, time lapse of that 3D character, the recent one, that shows that I'm also doing a lot of like parts too. But this case, this is a little more technical, but like less amount of like groups. So in less amount of groups, you can do more work in that sense. So yeah, just for those wondering about that. Alright, so we're going to press this, we're going to click on that, we're going to slowly just organize it in that sense. And when you look at this, work on this as well. We're going to go here, here as well. There we go. That leaves us with 2 more. So what we can do is that we can make this smaller, like that. So we gotta like adjust depending what we do. We do this here, we do this there, we do this here as well, here as well. Actually, just like that. There we go. So now we organize our stuff like that. I think to make it a little more simpler, we can essentially just organize it like this. And I'm going to essentially just make it smaller and make it fit in that sense. Fit here as well. Just like that. Put this here. Alright, cool. That's more or less it. That's the character sculpted in that sense too. So sculpted, actually not even sculpted. We started doing poly modeling in that sense, and after poly modeling, we went into it, and we essentially just like sculpted parts of it or refined it, and then we just UV seamed it. All right. You can also do the same procedure by doing all this in Maya if you have Maya, and then you can just like export this to ZBrush and just modify it and sculpt it in ZBrush. Then you use it the sculpted modified version, and just use that in your game. For as long as you don't do too much with your UV seams, that's what all that counts me into. So yeah. This tool is it's like a combination of ZBrush and Maya in that sense. A massive like form of that as well. So what I'm gonna do is that for this case, I'm gonna make the character just move like this and here. So. All right, look, we have everything UV seamed in that sense. So now we can technically start doing the work now. So just like that. Here as well. Just like that. Okay. And then we're gonna go here. Just sculpt this. Or move the polygons like that. Alright, afterwards, we're gonna try and just. This is the high sculpted version. Um, because this seems too high poly, the more I think about it, the more I would recommend actually just to try and like use something more low poly. So yeah, I think this one's better to use. So we're gonna use this one instead, and we're going to essentially delete. This one is good, I'm not gonna lie, but for this case, I think this could be an issue because like the more high poly it gets, the more it stresses your computer out. So we can use this instead, and then just do our work from there on like that. So do this here, put this model here, put this model here as well, over here as well. Just like that. There you go. Okay, now we did this right, so we did this here. I'm just gonna move this part here, just like that. Move that part here, just like that. And then we move this here. Sculpt. That there as well. And now we're going to go and try and do this. Just put this here, put that there, put that there as well. Just like that. There we go. Now our character is now technically complete. Oh, I forgot one thing. You see, we make mistakes when we actually overfix it in that sense. We don't really actually like do it too fast, do it too quickly, right? So we're gonna look at this. Now I'm gonna click on all of this in the end. Press edit. Just gonna leave all of that. So okay, so this is the wrong mesh, okay. You see, when you make a lot of these meshes in the end, we also tend to make mistakes depending what we do. So let's check this one. Okay, it's not this one either. So this one? No. Is it this one? Okay, this could be this one. So always check your work and always like take time to know what's going on. So yeah. Yep, it's this one. So okay, I'll move this here. Move this here as well. I'm gonna move it inside here. I want to organize it. Now I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna do this here as well. Just like that. And just like that. Okay. Alright, moves like that. It's gonna organize. Now we're just gonna move the eyes here. Cool. Now we're gonna just try and select everything now like last time. We're gonna edit. Alright, so you see the problem here? So the problem is this one here. Now we're gonna remove this again and actually rearrange it correctly this time. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna look at edit. I'm gonna edit this again. There. Now we're given this, so we can move this here, move this over here, and just make it distinction like that. Okay, and we're gonna move everything here as well, just like that. Cool, cool. Now we're gonna just do this, and then we're gonna do this in the end too. So like that. As well. You see how it takes a human hand and a human like arms and arms and hand to move the mouse and click on the keyboards like that. By showing this in the end, now you guys can understand the amount of time it takes to create something like this in the end too. For those wondering in a sense too. Alright. Now I'm gonna try and essentially, oh wow, look at that, there's actually something else I forgot. Okay. So, this object, I'm gonna look around and that's it, okay. So I'm gonna export, I'm gonna say OBJ. This is selection only. I'm gonna call this mech guy. And then I'm going to essentially export this here. And I'm gonna save. Okay, so we did this right. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna like test this out. We're gonna go to Mixamo, and when we go to Mixamo in that sense, we're essentially going to do our work like that. So not this. Alright, it's this one, you see? Okay. Now we're gonna go in here, right? And now we're essentially going to essentially like log in. I'll use the emote I have, so yeah. Okay, we're gonna upload. Now we're gonna try and do elements, project folder. It has to be this one. There we go. So we're gonna let it load and see what's gonna happen. So we create our character. This is our second video, and in this second video, we're gonna actually like do the full process and finish the process. And by doing so, you'll start to understand what I'm actually creating or what I'm trying to articulate as well too. So yeah, that's my character. It even has the spaces too to make the distinction in character work. So now I'm gonna open this up. Just put that over here. All of these here as well. Put that away. So for this video and for the last video, once you see all these things happening in that sense, you're also going to start telling that by doing all these work in that sense too, you have to use your mouse and your keyboard and your commands to actually do this work in the first place. By showing what I know, and me showing the mouse and the keyboard, that actually shows what I'm doing. Back then I didn't want to show it because I wanted to understand what is going on in that sense. And there were those that were saying whatever, hence gives me the reason and understanding to actually show my keyboard and things like that. But doing this, now you guys can tell how the character actually is being created. This is actually technically a full recording in that sense too. Now you guys understand now that's it. This is gonna take a while, so yeah. Okay, you see there's a problem here. This whole thing here, the normals aren't right. You see, that's why I wanted to do this first, because you will see mistakes in your things as well. So we're gonna go back, and now we're going to actually start fixing this. So let's open this up again. We're gonna go back and do this again. If I do this again, we're gonna go back, and now we're gonna try and do this. See, we didn't there were any issues when there were some issues, so we're going to Control A, Mesh, Normals, and Flip. When you flip this in the end, now we can actually use this again and retry this again as well. So we're going to retry this, and we're going to do this here again. There we go. Okay, so press edit. Alright, so now it looks like that, right? So this is the right amount. We're going to export, and we're going to go to OBJ, actually FBX, OBJ. So we can do this now, and we can technically do front, and we're doing this again. Always check your work, and if your file's not really working the way it's supposed to, that's a sign where you have to recheck your work multiple times. For those wondering about that, so I'll go here, just flip in. Okay, we're gonna show you your screen. This is a really fun process to do. It's like a cool concept to do. Toy making.
土をかけるそれが禁じられていたとしても純粋な眼差しの快楽には隠しきれない誘惑があったどうして罪があるのだろう
Oh no, see, made another mistake. Forgot to click the letter mech.
あるのだ
Alright, so go back and try this again.
これの先はあまりにも白く無限に
We're
続
gonna keep
く
trying until you actually
闇を誘
get
っ
it
た
right. So, see, you and I have to actually recheck these things. This is a very distinct process. It takes a lot of effort and time to know what your process is in you. So,
消えてしまう
now we're gonna wait. So,
あなたの思い出に鍵をかけるそれが損なわれていたとしても苦しい愛情の奥底には抑えきれない衝動があったかけらを拾い集めながら夢の終わりを待っていた罪があるのは諦めているから罰があるのは求めすぎるから何もかもが置き去りにされて回る続ける朝が来れば笑えるだろうかあの日のように笑えるだろうかなくしたものは何一つないと願う願い
alright. So, you guys saw a little bit of my YouTube, so. Now we're gonna put our character in. So let's start this. Let's check it out. Now we do this. And do this one. Now we do these. These are over here. And grinds this one.
Nobody move, there's blood on the floor. And I can't find
Okay, so. Okay. This may have some issues because the legs are a little too
the
close.
sun,
So we're gonna
the
be doing
moon,
some
the
legs.
stars, the twilight, the wind, a breath of life
fun process.
Won't you please tell me what was lost inside of me that day? I cry out in dark dismay. I'm covering the tears with rain, red memories remain. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul. The smile, the wound, the sand, the heat inside wind blows life within our hearts so yes, nothing to be afraid of now. Peace is in the air. But why do I feel the world is so unfair? Your touch is lost, baby, in darkness, and I cannot stand the solitaire. Tell me why I was left instead of you. Please talk to me. Can I stand up when it rains? Tears penetrate my heart with pain. Red memories still stay. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul.
Okay, on to the function. Legs. Legs are actually oh, look at that. The legs actually. We actually gotta work that.
You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul.
Alright, so I guess this is good for now. Alright. Now we're gonna start doing this the texture painting. This is the fun part, so boom, we're in substance now. Actually, it's better if I just turn this on and make it well. There we go. Now you can actually see the screens now. Perfect, right? It's almost like I was waiting for this to happen. Waiting to show you guys the process in a sense too. There are videos which we just trying to practice and test out. This time you're about to see what I'm talking about. So we're gonna go to
The sun, the moon, the stars, the twilight, the wind, a breath of life in a heart so soft. Can life be so beautiful now? Peace is in
not
the
everything here
air.
to see if there's any kind of like
So why, oh why am I so much in despair?
So
The light
we're gonna make this simple and we're not gonna be doing too much for this project, but in this
I
case
don't know
we do a
if
lot
I
more.
could smile anymore.
So
Won't you please tell me what so yes, nothing to be afraid of now, pieces in the air. But why do I feel the world is so unfair? Your touch is lost, baby, in darkness, and I cannot stand the solitaire. Tell me why I was left instead of you. Please talk to me. Can I stand up when it rains? Tears penetrate my heart with pain. Red memories still stay. Hey, you're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul.
It's supposed to be a very simple character.
You're a key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul.
In this case, we're not going to be doing too much. It's going to be doing now I'm going to use the brushes. Okay. Now I'll put this here as well. Just really interesting to do. Light, so just oh, well, look at that. This is interesting. Okay. Well, to do this, and we can do this like this. We can make it easier for us, just by making it
The sun, the moon, the stars, the twilight, the wind, a breath of life in a heart so soft. Can life be so beautiful now? Pieces in the air. So why, oh why am I so much in despair? The light won't reach my heart and I'm torn apart. I don't know if I could smile anymore. Won't you please tell me what was lost inside of me that day? I cry out
Alright.
in
See, there's a
darkness.
mistake here as well. The mistake that I was created that the V is big, but there's not a space to it's separate size. Let's try that. Alright, you want to see this? So this text part process. When you make these designs again, you actually think about what's going on and actually see what gets fixed. Because not every design is perfect all the time. So if I go back into it and change it, depending on what exactly is
So yes, nothing to be afraid of now.
same process, but I guess now you guys know what I'm talking about too. So now we're gonna put this back. Now draw all this.
The wind, a breath of life in a heart so soft. Can life be so beautiful now? Pieces in the air. So why, oh why am I so much in despair? The light won't reach my heart and I'm torn apart. I don't know if I could smile anymore. Won't you please tell me what was lost inside of me that day? I cry out in dark dismay. I'm covering the tears with rain. Red memories remain. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul. The smile, the wound, the sand, the heat inside wind blows life within our hearts so yes, nothing to be afraid of now. Pieces in the air. But why do I feel the world is so unfair? Your touch is lost, baby, in darkness, and I cannot stand the solitude.
Always take your time. Just because you come to the process.
Tell me why I was
Because
left
every moment that you're going to mistakes when we export and things like that.
Can
So you
I
gotta be careful
stand
with
up
putting
when it
put it
rains? Tears penetrate my heart with pain. Red memories still stay. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage twilight, the wind, a breath of life in a heart so soft. Can life be so beautiful now? Peace is in the air. So why, oh why am I so much in despair? The light won't reach my heart and I'm torn apart. I don't know if I could smile anymore. Won't you please tell me what was lost inside of me that day? I cry out in dark dismay. I'm covering the tears with rain and memories remain. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my damn soul. The smile, the wound, the sand, the heat inside wind, those light within our hearts so yes, nothing to be afraid of now. Peace is in the air. But why do I feel the world is so unfair? Your touch is lost, but baby in darkness, and I cannot stand the solitaire. Tell me why I was left instead.
It works now.
Please stop
It gets to work next
me. Can I stand up when it rains? Tears penetrate my heart with pain. Red memories still stay. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my damn of soul.
Faster. The reason why we're doing this is to add more depth to it.
You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my damn beloved soul.
Alright, so what's this? So keep so symmetry is kind of off, so
The sun, the moon, the stars, the twilight, the wind, a breath of life in our hearts. heart so soft? Can life be so beautiful now? Pieces in the air. So why, oh why am I so much in despair? The light won't reach my heart and I'm torn apart. I don't know if I could smile anymore. Won't you please tell me what was lost inside of me that day? I cried out in dark dismay. I'm covering the tears with rain, and memories remain. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul. The smile, the wound, the sand, the heat inside when blows life within our hearts so slow. Yes, nothing to be afraid of now. Pieces in the air. But why do I feel the world is so unfair? Your touch is lost, baby, in darkness, and I cannot stand the solitaire. Tell me why I was left instead of you. Please talk to me. Can I stand up when it rains? Tears penetrate my heart with pain. Red memories still stay. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul.
Okay, we got this done. Now we're going to bake fences. The character we're about to do is go into texture settings and go into big mesh maps. So we then turn on a new window. We're going to use low poly mesh as high poly mesh. It's 4K. And then we do this one here, the newest one, which is why there's a 1. And then we're going to big textures. Turn painting mode, and this is gonna change how it looks.
The sun,
There we go.
the moon, the stars, the twilight, the wind, a breath of life in a heart so soft. Can life be so beautiful now? Peace so yes, nothing to be afraid of now, pieces in the air. But why do I feel the world is so unfair? Your touch is lost, baby, in darkness, and I cannot stand the solitaire. Tell me why I was left instead of you. Please talk to me. Can I stand up when it rains? Tears penetrate my heart with pain. Red memories still stay. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul.
So this might be a better picture to use, so what this is how we layer our content For this case, I think this looks perfect. And let's just like that. And then we do this.
The sun, the moon, the stars, the twilight, the wind, a breath of life in a heart so soft. Can life be so beautiful now? Pieces in the air. So why, oh why am I so much in despair? The light won't reach my heart and I'm torn apart. I don't know if I could smile anymore. Won't you please tell me what was lost inside of me that day? I cry out in dark dismay. I'm covering the tears with rain. Red memories remain. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same, but deep inside I know without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul. The smile, the wound, the sand, the heat inside wind, blows life within a heart so
These are also
yes.
characters we
Nothing
use.
to be afraid of now, now pieces in the air. But why do I feel the world is so unfair? Your touch is lost, baby, in darkness, and I cannot stand the solitaire. Tell me why I was left instead of you. Please talk to me. Can I stand up when it rains? Tears penetrate my heart with pain. Red memories still stay. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same. But deep inside I know, without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same. But deep inside I know, without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul.
Here we go. Let me save this. In this character, we particularly add more to it, but we're saving this for now so we don't end up losing more content or losing more of it art negative sense.
The sun, the moon, the stars, the twilight, the wind, a breath of life in a heart so soft. Can life be so beautiful now? Pieces in the air. So why, oh why am I so much in despair? The light won't reach my heart and I'm torn apart. I don't know if I could smile anymore. Won't you please tell me what was lost inside of me that day? I cry out in dark dismay. I'm covering the tears with rain. Red memories remain. You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same. But deep inside I know, without you I am left alone in a cage called life.
And to some extent,
You're the one that stops the
because looking
pain.
out here, I said,
Love
no,
is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my temple of soul. The smile, the wound, the sand, the heat
But
inside
in
you.
Photoshop,
Those
whether
light
or not I could recheck
within
the work
our hearts so
choices.
so yes. Nothing
If someone tries
to
to
be afraid of now. Pieces in
in this case,
the air.
perfect textures and be more
But why
gotta start questioning, do they really know how to use it? Or they never know, they can't use those But in the end, the words just words. It's only up to the person to stop philosophy. To change himself, when you start changing yourself, when you start moving off the words, we're going to realize that it's self-conscious.
Tell me why I was left instead of you. Please talk to me. Can I stand up when it rains? Tears penetrate my heart with pain. Red memories still stay. Hey, you're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same. But deep inside I know, without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my damn
It's
soul.
very cool. It looks very cartoonish. Very cartoonish. Someone says blame was very annoying, but I just feel like it's whatever. I can switch this up like that too.
You're the key that stops the rain. Your vision's still the same. But deep inside I know, without you I am left alone in a cage called life. You're the one that stops the pain. Your love is in my veins. Forever you will live inside my damn beloved soul.
Cool. There are songs a neck knife. And there you go. This is close to 2 hours, and we completed this around 4 to 5 hours of work. This is how you create a character from A to Z. And this is how you actually do it. So yeah, I built a video up like this to show that this took literal hands, a mouse, and a keyboard to do. With a lot of texturing and even a pen as well. Those three things, my pen, my mouse, my keyboard, showing that video on this camera that I have, shows it overall, and it's all handcrafted. Now you guys understand it, but thank you for seeing my crew. Thank you so much, and I'm glad to talk about this to you.
A breath of life in a heart so soft. Can life be so beautiful now?
It's handcrafted, and overall, this is done
So
with
why,
human hand,
oh why
human mind,
am
body,
I so much in despair?
soul. Thank you so much for visiting me in this YouTube channel, or watching my videos. This is my crew. I'll catch you later, see you later, and this is you out.
Won't you